What is up, alienARMy? I am Oculus, the alien next door, purveyor of esoteric lore, and on this channel we discuss everything out of this world. We're just gonna get into this wild video. I'm just giving you a heads up, this shit is gonna get really weird, but I channeled it, it resonates with me, it's my truth, and this is what I feel might resonate with a few of you as well. So remember, always use your own discernment. This is information that is conveyed to me, and always conduct your own research, always utilize your own intuition. So here we go. So we are going to be talking about the carbon footprint. What exactly does that mean? Now, as conveyed to me, the carbon footprint has to do with the Earth third dimensional body, because the Earth third dimensional body, and I'm not too familiar with the carbon body or the crystalline body. I just know that they both do exist, but I'm not going into details of that because that's not the information that I was conveyed. I just know that someone who is operating from the carbon body, they're primarily in their 3D ego mind, and therefore their vibration is denser. Whereas the crystalline body, they're operating primarily from a fifth dimensional vantage point and above. Therefore, their energy is lighter. So you might have seen different places talk of reducing the carbon footprint. The carbon footprint, as conveyed to me, is the lower density third dimensional being. The being who is operating primarily from a place of ego density. That is the carbon footprint. Reduce the carbon footprint. What does that mean? So this leads me to climate change, which, if you think about it, is really a natural step after reducing the carbon footprint. Climate change is a new climate, a new earth, a new world.
When I demand that you do something, it's called a what?
Begins with an O. There you go. Either which way you look at it, there is going to be a different climate, and that is the climate change which is being spoken about globally. So you reduce the carbon footprint, there is now a new climate, which leads me to our next phase, mission to Mars. I told you, we getting wild, so buckle up, take a shot, take a whatever you got to do, but get ready for it, right? So now we know reducing the carbon footprint. What does that mean? Then we move along to climate change. Different climate because the carbon footprint has been reduced. So it is going to be a different atmosphere because now it's crystalline, predominantly crystalline individuals that are in third dimensional bodies, right? Those who are operating from the higher dimensional energy. So it is going to be a different climate. But wait, there's more. Mission to Mars. Earth and Mars are purported to be sister planets. They're very, very similar. Now, if you're familiar with some esoteric and occult knowledge and occult practices and things like that, you are most likely aware that Mars is purported to have an underground city civilization, okay? They're underground, they fucked up their atmosphere somehow, and they cannot no longer live on the surface, right? So there's so much more to that, but this is basically what I just want to talk about, what's being conveyed. So we have all that going on with Mars, and so what happens is that Mars, the beings on Mars, and I'll get to that in a second, the beings on Mars that are residing there are looking to live out in the open, live on the surface again, right? They are looking to repopulate and colonize the outer surface of where they're at. They're tired of being underground, right? Like they did that for a while. Now they're like, okay, no, we need to repopulate, and we need to bring in high dimensional beings to repopulate with. So it's sort of like Anunnaki 2.0, if you're into that type of thing. It's similar to that. Now, I'm not saying either which one is right or wrong. I'm just saying it's similar. Like Anunnaki were purported to come to Earth and mixed their DNA with monkeys on Earth, and then that created the human, right? So this is really what is going on with the Martian agenda. And this is these beings, they want to repopulate, they want to bring in crystalline beings there, and they want to pretty much have a new Earth over there. They want to, now I don't know if they want to bring everyone, but they predominantly want the crystalline ones, because the carbon-based ones, they already use them for slave labor. Okay, they have this, just because we're on the topic, but just quick heads up, they have a treaty. This is conveyed to me. They have a treaty with high-ranking officials in government line of work and in national parks. Now, I'm in the US, so I really only am resonating with this, but it might go on in other places, but it's predominantly going on in the US, where the national parks are really hot spots. They're portals for where carbon-based life forms are being abducted from and being brought to this Mars, and they're used for experiments, for slave labor, what have you, because they're studying it, right? Because for whatever reason, they couldn't live on the surface of their planet, so they want to study how the humanoids are operating on their planet, which is compatible to them. So hoping that they'll be able to decipher some shit so that they are able to live on the surface of their planet. So trippy coming up, okay? Woo! Some trippy shit is that Earth and Mars, if we want to think of them not necessarily as round planets in the sky, Earth and Mars, and this is what is conveyed to me, Earth and Mars are indeed, they're like sister planets, if you want, brother planets. However, they typically say sisters, but I mean, you use whatever you want, okay? They're related somehow, okay? Similar. Now, are they really planets at all, though? Or is it a mind matrix that someone's consciousness is uploaded or downloaded into? So Earth has the 3D matrix. If we want to think of different levels of video games, like let's say you're playing Super Mario and you're on level 1, you know, there's level 2, there's level 3, there's level 4, what have you, right? So if we want to, and I don't know what level Earth and Mars would be, but Earth is the level before Mars in the complicatedness of the reality matrix. So if we want to think of, let's say there's 10 levels, let's just say, I don't know, I'm just going to go with 3 for 3D dimensional Earth, 3D, okay, cool, that's level 3. And we have Mars, which is level 4, so it's moving up. So this is why those who are more in resonance with the crystalline light body are being selected to populate Mars with. Okay, and this is why there's talk of Mars. So Mars is, as conveyed to me, another sort of like reality matrix, but it's a more advanced version. So are people being physically brought there? Sure. I mean, people travel interdimensionally at all times, but this is more of like a mind matrix. This is like a software update, if we want to think about it. So I don't know when exactly these crystalline individuals are going to be like exported to Mars, you know. I don't know. It might not be in anyone's lifetime on Earth now, but this is essentially what is being prepared for. This is why there's talk of it now, because these beings and the ascension process on Earth is really, it's sped up a lot, okay? But how does anyone know if, let's say you were on, and I'm just going to use this example because it's the easiest, you're on Windows 95 and then you're on like Windows 2000. It's like an entirely different experience, but it's still the same thing. It's the operating system, it's the software. You have to update shit, right? Like some things aren't going to be compatible. So the third dimensional carbon-based humans are not going to be compatible with the upgrade to the Mars matrix. So that's why they need to be eliminated in the eyes of some, them, they, whoever you want to call them, because they are like, the body is too dense. Where they're operating from is too dense, and I mean energetically. They're too energetically dense for that lighter matrix of Mars. So I'm just going to use another example here, metaphor time. If you want to picture an airplane, however much it weighs with its wings flying around, right, has to fly at a certain altitude in order for the air to support the density of the plane. If the plane tries to fly in air that is not compatible with it because the air is too thin, the air is too light to support the weight of that heavy plane, what's going to happen? It's going to have no choice but to start falling and go back to the density that is compatible with supporting that plane. So that is the carbon-based life form of the human. They're too dense. Mars matrix is not going to be able to support them. That's why the upgrade to the crystalline DNA must occur, because you ain't gonna be compatible with the air up there. You know what I'm saying? And like that's like the best thing with that aeroplane. Thank you, universe. That was a really good fucking metaphor. Like that's exactly what it is. Mars matrix, it's too light because it's a higher vibration. It's not as dense. It's not going to support the carbon-based life form. So reduce the carbon footprint. A footprint is very symbolic, right? Because it shows that you were there. Reduce it. It is no more. It's being evaporated. It's being erased. We're only keeping around the crystalline motherfucking life forms, okay? At least that's what it's being conveyed to me is part of the agenda. So to upgrade to the new matrix area, as I said, I don't know how long it's going to take. If I receive more information on that, obviously I'm gonna make a motherfucking video about it, but that's what I have for now, is that this is the ascension process is speeding up, even though time doesn't exist, but you know what I mean, because there's really like a big filtering out going on. So that's essentially what's going on, is conveyed to me with like the Earth matrix, reducing the carbon footprint to have a climate change, a different climate, which is transitioning towards now the Mars matrix. That is how those three items fit together. So it's sort of like step by step, moving on up, literally, I guess, moving on up to a higher vibration. So if you're interested in really kind of seeing a visual of what I'm talking about, because remember, they always show the masses what they're fucking doing. in movies, in articles, and whatever have you, right? Things that are mainstream. They always show you what the fuck they're doing. So the movie Knowing, and I don't remember what year it came out. It might have been 2009 with Nicolas Cage in it. Just if you search for Knowing Nicolas Cage, you're gonna see. So it's not necessarily exactly what's going on in that entire movie of what I said, but the ending of that movie is really what the end goal is. Only we're talking about not necessarily a physical planet, but it's more of like a matrix, like a high-tech AI type of system. So this is the message that is being conveyed to me on this topic in regards to current events and what's going on now. It's really just like a preparation of what lies ahead on the agenda. So, and that's what I got for you today. I am Oculus, the alien next door, and we will chit chat again soon.